For most of his life, Wolfgang Van Halen has lived in the shadow of a legend. The towering legacy of his father, Eddie Van Halen. Born in 1991 to Eddie and actress Valerie Bertinelli, Wolfgang grew up surrounded by fame, music, and expectations he never asked for. Yet behind the smiles and stage lights was a quiet story of loss, loneliness, and an uphill fight to prove that his name meant more than inheritance. His childhood was filled with ordinary moments, family dinners, laughter, and toys instead of guitars. His parents made sure fame didn't consume him. "My mom did a really good job grounding me," he said. Life at home was warm and structured, not lavish or wild. Eddie was a gentle, patient father who never forced music on his son. He gave him freedom to discover it naturally. That freedom planted the seeds of independence that would one day define Wolfgang's journey. When he was about 8, Eddie handed him a pair of drumsticks and told him to start with rhythm. There were no fancy lessons, just a stack of magazines and the beat of imagination. Wolfgang's love for music grew naturally, his rhythm echoing through the halls of their home until Eddie finally gifted him his first drum kit. The boy who once drummed on magazines soon became a prodigy, surprising even his uncle Alex Van Halen. By his teens, curiosity led him to the guitar, though his father's genius was impossible to replicate. Eddie would play something extraordinary and say, "Do this," but genius couldn't be taught. So Wolfgang taught himself, studying guitar tabs and learning songs from bands like Blink-182 and System of a Down. He wasn't trying to be the next Eddie Van Halen, he was trying to be the first Wolfgang Van Halen. Otherwise, you'd just be listening to some shoddy Van Halen cover band, he told Spin. In 2006, everything changed. At just 15, Wolfgang was invited to join Van Halen as their new bassist, replacing longtime member Michael Anthony. To many fans, it looked like nepotism, but to Wolfgang, it was a test of fire. He wanted to help his father, but stepping into such an iconic band came with enormous pressure. "I became the biggest enemy of every 40 to 50-year-old man out there," he recalled. Yet show after show, he proved himself. The 2007-2008 reunion tour with David Lee Roth silenced critics, and the band's 2012 album, A Different Kind of Truth, bore his fingerprints. Still, the hate left scars. "That did a lot of damage to me," he admitted. He wasn't just fighting to make music, he was fighting to survive it. In 2013, Wolfgang took a bold step to break free from his father's shadow. He joined Tremonti, the band led by Creed's Mark Tremonti, where he played as just another musician, not a famous son. He learned entire sets overnight, toured relentlessly, and recorded 2 albums, Cauterize and Dust. But tragedy struck in 2020 when Eddie Van Halen lost his long battle with cancer. The world lost a guitar god. Wolfgang lost his father. "Some days are better than others," he told Carson Daly, holding back tears. "It doesn't seem like the pain will ever go away." His grief became his muse. In 2021, Wolfgang released his debut album, Mammoth WVH, a title honoring the original name of his father's band before Van Halen existed. Every instrument, drums, guitar, bass, vocals, was performed by him alone. "It's 100% all me," he told NPR. The album's lead single, Distance, written for his father, became a #1 hit on Billboard's hard rock chart and earned him a Grammy nomination. At the 2022 Grammys, posing with his mother and girlfriend, he joked, "We came, we saw, but we did not conquer." But deep down, it was a full-circle moment. Eddie hadn't won on his first try either. By 2023, Wolfgang's life had come into balance. He married photographer Andrea Alsop at their Los Angeles home, with 90 friends and family gathered around. As he and his mother walked down the aisle, Eddie's instrumental 316, written for Wolfgang's birth, played softly in the background. "It was a way to include my dad," he said. Valerie Bertinelli glowed with pride. They really get each other. They're so comfortable together. That same year, Wolfgang released Mammoth WVH, Tutus, again playing every instrument himself. Fans finally began to see him for his own artistry. Luckily, people are starting to become fans of the music first, and only then realize who my dad was, he told Guitar.com. Then came another unexpected moment in March 2024, when Wolfgang performed at the Oscars alongside Ryan Gosling and Slash for I'm Just Ken. Right when Ryan whips out his abs, there's a guitar tapping solo, and that's me, he laughed. Not my normal place to hang around, but surreal. For a few shining minutes, the world didn't see him as Eddie's son, but as Wolfgang, the artist, the man, the musician who had fought his way into the light. Wolfgang Van Halen's journey has been one of quiet resilience and self-definition. From a boy drumming on magazines to a man who built an entire sound on his own, he has proven that legacy doesn't define destiny. He didn't step out of his father's shadow. He transformed it into his own stage light. So, what do you think? Has Wolfgang finally carved his place as more than Eddie Van Halen's son? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories like this.